Three, two, one, and we're live. I think we're live. Are we live? Am I spooling? Am I breaking up? Can you hear me? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela with another edition of Notes on the News, where I share with you headlines from my news feed that I've selected just because I thought that they were interesting for whatever reason. And we might talk about the headlines, the article, the subject matter at large. Hey, what's up? Uh, whatever happens to come up. But it's not news, as the title says, it's just my notes on the news. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and all of those other good things. What's the news, King? Hey, the Rottweiler. How you doing, Rod? Welcome on the chat. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and all those other good things. We working on 1,000. Yay! Look at Bella in the background. She like, I'm working on getting out this car. She had a long walk today. All right, Habaragani. Habaragani. Oh. Ooh. What's the notes? Dang. I got a whole different thing going. That's deep. I done discovered something about this site. So the last time we got together, we were talking about Umoja, Habaragani. What's the word for the day? What's the news? Umoja, unity. Today, the news is Kujichagulia, self-determination. And I just see that this, thank you for the like. I just see that this site that I don't even like that much has a whole essay that I never noticed. I just see the summary. Okay. Kujichagulia, stop the BS now. What's up? Welcome on the chat. Hey, COG, question. Okay. So Kujichagulia is the word for today. To define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. The second principle of the Nguzo Saba is self-determination. This too expresses itself as both commitment and practice. Commitment and practice. Hey, Ayapo. It demands that we as an African people define, defend, and develop ourselves instead of allowing or encouraging others to do this. It requires that we recover lost memory and once again shape our world in our own image and interests. Shape our world in our own image and shape our world in our own interests. Like for us, for me. Okay. That's pretty good. And it is a call to recover and speak our own special truth to the world and raise images above the earth that reflect our capacity for human greatness and progress. Come on, Bella. The first act of a free people is to shape the world in its own image and interest. Are you free? And it is a statement about their conception of self and their commitment to self-determination. Oh, that's from Frantz Fanon. Yay. I've always wanted to read Frantz Fanon, and now I have, if it's accurate what they quoting. I just read one sentence. It's not a whole book, but that's a start, right? STBNIY. Stop the BS now. Oh, clever. Muy interesante. Okay. The first, okay, so has said that each person, Frantz Fanon has said, hey, Rowdy Chica, that each person must ask him or herself 3 basic questions. Who am I? That's number 1. 2, am I really who I say I am? 3, am I all that I ought to be? Am I all that I ought to be? Now that's deep right there. These are questions of history and culture, not simply queries or questions of personal identity. Oh, who are we? Are we really who we say we are? And are we all that we ought to be? More profoundly, they are questions of personal identity. More profoundly, that's weird. They are questions of collective identity based and borne out in historical and cultural practice. And the essential quality of that practice must be the quality of self-determination. To answer the question of who I am correctly, then, is to know and live one's history and to practice one's culture. To answer the question of am I really who I am is to have and employ a cultural criteria of authenticity, i.e., criteria of what is real and what is not real, what is appearance and what is essence, what is culturally rooted and what is foreign. Ooh. And to answer the question of am I all I ought to be is to self-consciously possess ethical and cultural standards which measure men, women, and children in terms of the quality of their thought and practice in the context of who they are and must become in both an African and a human sense. Oh, muy interesante. Very interesting. So now Endarkment, I might be a fan of Endarkment. I like that essay. There was one issue, but okay. Kuji Chagalia. Who am I? Am I all that I ought to be? And am I really who I say that I am? Okay, let's move on. Yo, Buddha, what up, though? Okay. One who does not strike nor makes others strike, one who does not strike. One who does not strike nor make others strike, who robs not nor makes others rob, sharing love with all that live, finds enmity with none. So if you ain't out here this basically is saying don't start none, won't be none. That's what the Buddha's saying here. Don't be out here robbing people or causing people to rob people. Don't be out here hitting people or causing people to hit people. Share your love, and you ain't gonna have no enemies. You're not gonna have no enmity with nobody. Don't start none, won't be none. The bull, don't start the BS. Stop the BS right now. All right, let's proceed with the notes on the news. So Anchor is this app that does podcasts, I think, or something having to do with podcasts. But Anchor has an iPad app that is an all-in-one podcast studio. Does anybody have a podcast? I've been thinking I should have a podcast. Years ago, somebody said that my voice is my tool. Now, I always thought that was interesting. So when podcasts came out, I'm like, oh, maybe I should try to get a podcast and use my voice. I know Information Man Show does a podcast. Anybody else podcast? Yeah. From right here, I'm getting a whiff of, I don't know if y'all get those. Yup, you got a podcast? I have a great voice. See? I don't know if y'all have those bushes that have the little white flowers in them. But I'm getting a whiff of them. I love that smell. It's coming all the way from the corner, like 5, 6 houses down. I guess the breeze is hitting just right. Okay. Thank you. Paraguay man surprises family at his own wake. So I guess he show up at the wake. They got somebody else's body there. I don't know if it was burned or something. And he like, what's going on? I'm not dead. And so now I kind of wonder, well, the person whose body it is, his people can't have a wake for them. They don't even know that he made his transition. But I guess they're happy that he's alive, but I'm kind of sad for the person who's dead because his people don't even, this man had people mourning for him and he wasn't dead. The man who dead, ain't nobody even mourning for him. Maybe now. Oh, I have the voice for it. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I don't know. Because I feel like with video, you get expression. Like sometimes I'm like, but that doesn't really translate if you don't have video, So I feel like you have to have a slightly different approach. I don't know if I really have I have to, but I need to look into it one day. I'm gonna add it to my list. Texas detention officer charged with super aggravated sexual assault. What is super aggravated sexual assault? I never even heard of that. Of a 4-year-old girl, 1, 2, 3, 4, like a toddler, basically. After authorities say her mother, an undocumented immigrant, i.e., somebody who's very, 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 very vulnerable, was being blackmailed to stay silent about the abuse or face deportation. So prayers out to the child and her family and community. Wow, what the heck is that? Some BS. And that's one headline. Like that's the headline. You don't even have to read the headline say everything. It's coming off a feed proxy from Google. But I mean, it's so much in the headline. Yeah. Okay. So prayers out to, the child and her family and um I guess it's just I mean, I don't have to guess, but it's some people out here who just take advantage of you know, of anything. You don't have a podcast? It's some people out here who just take advantage of anybody or any situation. If they see any vulnerability, they on it in a not in a good way, in a bad way. Um So prayers out. How to fill out a check because they aren't dead yet. Remember when I was telling y'all that the company that I do the tours for, I'm the only one who gets checks. Everybody else gets paid by PayPal. And so it was like I could feel the low grade, drama last year, and then this year she said in the meeting, and everybody has to have PayPal. This is how you can set up PayPal. And it's like, I know how to set up PayPal if I want to have PayPal. I didn't have it. I mean, I've had it before. I don't have PayPal. I don't want PayPal. And then at some point she was like, well, I'm not doing any checks. And I'm like, well, maybe our check's obsolete. Like, why won't she write me a check? I don't understand. I get checks in other contexts. So anyway, this headline just verifies that they aren't dead yet. They may be dying, but they're not dead yet. Write me a check. She wrote me a check the other day. Hey, Mr. Spencer, how are you? The world's largest health organization just classified video game addiction as a disorder. You addicted to the video games? You got a disorder. I think it's the World Health Organization that says that. Trump's aides are reportedly showing him photos of detained children smiling. I don't know what that means. Trump's aides are reportedly showing him photos of detained children smiling and playing video games. I'm good, and you? I'm good. Thanks for asking. So, hey, Andre, what's up? So that basically, he like, oh, all of that stuff on the news. Like they had some footage today. I was very confused. I heard it. They're like, now this is footage of children being separated from, their parents. All right. I don't want to subscribe to no PayPal. And I feel like I told you the one time when they were trying to get me to do direct deposit at one place, and I'm like, I don't want you in my account. They ended up one day I went to pick up my paycheck and I had a card, and they like activate this card, your money is over there. And that kind of got on my nerves, but they paid the cost for it. But that kind of got on my nerves. I just feel like, why can't you just give me a check? But I guess they don't want to be bothered. It's 2018. They like, why can't you just get with the program? So if you can't get with the program, we're going to get you with this program. So the footage, there was like a recording, like so-and-so went in and they recorded children being separated from their parents. And some of the children are as young as 4. And then you heard like the audio of, the children crying. And they're like, but this hasn't been verified. I'm like, well, do we have to verify? Like, is it really difficult to imagine what a child or what children would sound like if they had been separated from their parents and family and they were in strange circumstances with strange people? Like, do we really, I mean, it's really not that complicated. Like, I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, so Trump, I guess he's seeing the pictures of the children smiling and playing video games, and he like, them enslaved people, they loves it. Yes, Amasa, Weezer loves it. Like I guess he want to buy into that, I don't know. Dummy. Just dumb. And I guess they keeping the bullshit going. Mississippi governor has some choice words for activists who burned state flag outside of his mansion. I'm so glad to hear that. I think the Mississippi state flag is one of those. I saw that propaganda this morning. It's propaganda on both sides. I think that Mississippi state flags is one of those flags that incorporates the Confederate like flag or symbol or whatever as part of the state flag. But I'm just glad. I hope they're Negroes. I'm just glad to hear that the Negroes is resisting and fighting back, and because it just felt. I'm not saying that everybody was like on some punks, on some just weak go along stuff, but it felt like it sometimes. It was kind of demoralizing and depressing, and so it's always encouraging to hear of some people in Mississippi, showing some resistance, showing some gumption. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. I don't know if they were burning the state flag because of the Confederate thing or what, but the governor, he wasn't happy. He probably got a water hose or two for him. All stars in the universe, all stars in the universe may form in pairs, but we can't find the sun's missing nemesis. I never heard this before. I knew that there were some stars like Sirius, and isn't there like a twin star to Sirius? I knew that there were some stars that were supposed to be, hey, Marlowe's Corner. I knew that there were some stars that were supposed to be twins, but now they're theorizing that all stars form as twins, and that the sun in our solar system has a twin or had a twin. We can't find it. The name was Nemesis, and that sometimes like the reason that is like the gravitational pull or something was going on, and so that caused the extinction, like the mass extinction events they say are connected to the fact that Nemesis is missing. And why would they name the star Nemesis? Isn't like Nemesis something bad, like you're my nemesis? Why it should be like if it's a twin, I want the twins to be friends. But this is the first time I'm hearing of that. I think that's interesting that all stars are formed as twins, because I feel like the way that a lot of things work is that there is a complementary duality. That Sirius is a bigger sun. A bigger sun what than its twin, or a bigger sun than our sun? But I think the idea that like, where there's a sun, there's an anti-sun, where there's like that things come and they work together. It's like it's a complementary vibration. So like I don't know than our sun. Yeah. Hey, the handy fam with. So anyway, that's interesting. I like the idea. I'm not a scientist. I don't study science, but I love the idea that there are theories and they're evolving as you get information, you figure things out. I think they're doing the permutations based upon laws of attraction and the principles of thermodynamics. Hello. Yeah. So I like, I like to hear ideas evolve. Sometimes it feels like a little stressful, like, wait, that's not what they told me in school, like, oh, why are they changing? But I think it's kind of exciting in a way, like, yes, let's grow and develop. Tell me something new. Don't be telling me the same old thing for hundreds of years. Oh, it's a bird that was flying with something like a brown string or something. I'm like, what kind of bird is that? It's making a nest. Maybe that's the cardinal's mate. I think she has to be around here someplace. A woman gave birth on a busy Paris train, and now the baby is getting free rides. I guess that's like the perk of being born on a train. Free rides for life. Twitch allows everyone to customize streams with multiple tools. Does anybody use Twitch? Twitch is supposed to be like YouTube, right? I'm not familiar with Twitch. Making a nest, about to lay those eggs. Is this the seed? Oh man. Hey. I don't know. It just cut off. According to general relativity and the curvature of space. Something. I don't know. So I don't know what y'all missed, but yeah, making a nest, about to lay them eggs. So Twitch, I don't know anything about Twitch, but does anybody else know anything about Twitch? Is it good? Should we move over there? Well, I was watching a little bit. I use it in Steam. Oh, Steam is another app. Okay. I was watching something today, like how a lot of people in Silicon Valley don't use social media. There was some guy on some show who was saying, hey, Astarte. Bella, old big head. I know. And she like all up in my face, but she's kind of far away from me. but it looks like she's right up in my mouth. So they can measure the universe and its origins, but they can't keep videos from buffering. Go figure. Right. It's very suspicious. I don't know about that. Dang, I was saying something now I totally forgot, so it probably wasn't nothing anyway. Okay, will Norway's electric plane take off? So it's like a battery operated plane, like you know how they have these electric cars and stuff. Hey puppy. Bella's a grown dog. She about 7 years old. What that make her 35? 7 times 7. How that work? 49? I don't know how it works. How do dog years work? Is it by 7? I don't even know how old she is anymore. Puan, oldest known Sumatran orangutan. Also, they have these planes that are like electric, like election. You weren't talking to me? Oh, you weren't talking to me? So they have electric planes like electric cars, like they have batteries or you can plug them in. So they're saying you can fly without feeling guilty or whatever. I don't really feel guilty when I fly. Should I feel guilty? Am I using a whole bunch of gas and stuff or something? Is it evil to fly? Should I take the boat? Oh, I should take a boat to yeah, I don't know if I should take a boat. Hey, True Royal Family. But wouldn't it be exciting or interesting to take a 2-month boat trip or something? I like to do something like that. And it's probably it's definitely more natural than flying someplace. When you fly someplace, you get there in 12 hours, what would take you 2 months or a month to do, at a more natural pace. So your system is probably thrown off. Okay. Puan, oldest known Sumatran orangutan, dies in Australia. Orangutan. I say orangutan. I thought it had a G on the back, but it doesn't. It just has an N. Orangutan. So I don't know if I should say rest in peace to Puan, the oldest orangutan, but they say that he had a whole bunch of babies, so they were happy he did his job or his part in shouldn't use electric planes. If they mess with the magnetic field, you're going to be in trouble. Hey, the radical sister, how are you? So anyway, he made his transition and they feel that he's done his job to repopulate his species of animal. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the father of Black history. This article was interesting to me because it was almost like before this. But look at that picture of him. Can y'all see him? I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of Carter G. Woodson. There was very little known about Black history until the 20th century. That's when Dr. Carter Godwin, Dr. Carter Godwin Woodson, he was fine. Changed that. Woodson was an African-American author, historian, journalist, and founder of the Association for the Study of African-American Life and History. Hey, we have an ASLA chapter here in Detroit. It meets at the museum. I keep saying I want to join it. But it seems like whenever their meetings are, I never go. Hey, Rashida. So, but anyway, he formed that organization and still exists now. We have a chapter in Detroit. He was born the son of 2 former slaves, James and Eliza Riddle Woodson. Since his family was poor, he could not attend school on the regular. However, through self-instruction, the power of self-instruction, he was able to master all common school subjects by the age of 17. He was homeschooling. He soon became to earn a living in the minor coal fields. The writing is a little tricky here, and devoted a few months out of the year to school. He was the principal of Douglas High School. He earned his Bachelor of Literature degree from Berea College. Berea College we're here before everybody else, right? And most, I don't know if most of it, but a lot of us know it too. He was the first. Woodson was the first Black fraternity, Sigma Pi Phi, and a member of Omega Psi Phi. Oh, Q Dogs. What do they do? Woof. I don't know. His PhD in history was completed at Harvard University in 1912, where he was the second Black man to earn a doctorate degree after W.E.B. Du Bois. Who knew? He was convinced that the role of African American history in the history of other cultures was being ignored or misrepresented among teachers in the classroom. He saw a need for research into the neglected and forgotten past of African Americans. Now, what's kind of distressing, oh, happy Juneteenth Day. And also, this is the 50th anniversary of the Poor People's March that Dr. Martin Luther King did, and Dr. Reverend Barber is doing a Poor People's March yesterday or today. And what's interesting is like these cycles. Q dogs bark. Woof. Who let the dogs out? So what's interesting is like, and kind of depressing is like these cycles, like you reading about Carter G. Woodson, the same stuff he was talking about back then is the same stuff we talking about now. Like it feels kind of like it starts feeling like a little cuckoo crazy, like you just in a loop, you doing the same old skit. Like, I don't know, and maybe I like to think we're spiraling upward, but I, I don't know. And then with with Juneteenth, it's sort of like, yeah, I'm listening and loving the info, but washing dishes, my sink is threatening to sue if I don't clean it out. But like with the whole Juneteenth day, it's like slavery's over, but slavery's not over. And then it's like I didn't realize, for some reason I thought that it took months for the word to officially get to Texas. But I heard earlier today that it was like 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. See, and I don't think it was like, oh, the person who was supposed to deliver the news got distracted, because I'm sure that it was in newspapers and stuff all over the place. I think then people, and I'm using the word people lightly, was just, the same as my refrigerator, threatening to sue if I don't clean it out. I think then people was like, we're going to keep these Negroes enslaved and keep getting this money as long as we can. I'm going to ride this sucker till the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? They ain't never been honorable, so why would they start being honorable now? Or then? So like these loops, these cycles, the same old stuff. But anyway, thank you, Carter G. Woodson, for your service. Meet Orrin C. Evans, the dean of Black reporters and the father of Black comic books. I never even heard of Orrin C. Evans, but I don't know much about comics or who. So okay, so that's somebody. Sweden shooting, 3 dead in Malmo cafe attack. Malmo cafe attack. It took them almost 3 years before they knew slavery as we knew it was over. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's like an illustration, but it's just, I don't know if you can tell it's an illustration, but it's like an illustration. It's not like a photo. Okay. He was born 1902 in Stilton, Pennsylvania. He was the oldest son of George and Maud. Ooh, Maud, that's a good name. Maud Wilson Evans. His father was a light-skinned man and often passed for white. However, his mother was darker skinned and on different occasions pretended to be the maid when visitors came to the house. Ooh, that's kind of intense. By 8th grade, Evans had already dropped out of school. He found work in journalism while still in his teens at the Philadelphia Tribune. Evans later took a job at the Philadelphia Record, where he was the only African American on staff during the early 1930s. While working here, his work focused on the segregation in the armed services during World War II. His literary work made him the target for death threats and discrimination. Despite the treatment, Evans continued to write for several other newspapers and magazines. With a desire to reach a broader audience, Evans partnered with Harry T. Saylor, former record editor, to found the Philadelphia publishing company All Negro Comics, Inc. Who heard of All Negro Comics, Inc.? Evans served as president. You got me dying. During its time, there was only one known issue. Yeah, I don't know what, yeah, I'm missing. Okay. Okay. All Negro Comics Inc. Comics Inc. Evans served as the president during his time. There was only one known issue of All Negroes Comics published. The book was a 48-page standard-sized comic. All Negroes Comics #1 carries a cover date of June 1947. No information about the press run or distribution remains. Evans later returned to the newspaper business. I guess he didn't like the comic business, or it didn't work, something. He served as an editor of the Chester Times and the Philadelphia Bulletin. He was a longtime supporter of the NAACP and the Urban League. He favored the works of W.E.B. Du Bois as opposed to those of Marcus Garvey. I was just listening to something that was talking about the tension between, I think it was Esquire, African Esquire, who was saying that W.E.B. Du Bois was like anti Marcus Garvey, but later on in life he was a Pan-Africanist. It is said that Evans possessed a library that was the finest in the Black community during his time. In 1966, he won the Interurban League of Pennsylvania Achievement Award. Okay, so that's interesting. What was his name again? Orrin C. Evans. All right. Learn something new every day. Dozens feared dead as overloaded Sumatra ferry sinks. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but prayers out to the people in Sumatra. Where is Sumatra? I need a map. Women who wake up early may be less likely to develop depression, according to a new study, but the advice for optimum sleep remains unchanged. I never really understand these things because people are like, well, when you get up early in the morning, you get a whole bunch of stuff done before the other people even get up. He had been used by the Jews to bring other Black men down. You talking about Du Bois. But I always feel like, well, if you stay up late at night, then you get stuff done while the people are sleeping. Like, I don't really understand, I tried to be a part of the 5 a.m. club, but I don't really think I'm cut out for, getting up early in the morning. And I just like every time, like even in this article, it's like the headline is misleading because they're basically like, really just make sure you get enough sleep. Whatever time you get up, make sure you get enough sleep and have a schedule. Now that's something that needs to be, that's important to be more regular and when you go to bed and when you get up. But, maybe if you're having some issues with depression or feeling whatever, go to bed earlier. It might help you. That might be your more natural rhythm. And when you get on your more natural rhythm, your more natural personality might come out. WWE says it has suspended Ronda Rousey for 30 days after she attacked her WWE mentor with a briefcase on live TV. I never knew nothing about, hey, Nikki, I never knew nothing about no Ronda Rousey. I'm not really into fighting and all of that. Unless of course you're the bird, the worm. I never knew nothing about fighting. I'm not into it and all of that, but my mother is into it. And she was like, oh, Ronda Rousey, she's just the best fighter out ever, and she does this move and she does that move, and she fights, and as soon as she fights, she just knocked the people out 2 seconds later, and by the time I could like make myself look at something, I think she got her behind kicked, and so like she got, it was kind of like a big upset and a big deal, and I guess she hasn't really emotionally recovered if she out here hitting people with briefcases. Right, Rhonda is a jerk. She out, I mean, like, ew. I was just gonna say she ain't recovered real bad. She got beat up real bad. She just hadn't encountered the right one. But anyway, she's been suspended. I'm like, ew. Japanese firm makes suits for blue collar workers. So not suits like they feel like if you're a blue collar worker it can be demoralizing, when people are wearing like overalls or like dressing down, and so they make a suit that looks like a business suit that you can wear as a blue collar worker, and then that way you can feel like you're doing something because you're wearing a suit. But these suits that you can like wash them in the washing machine and dryer. So what you think? I don't think I need a suit. But anyway, for those of you who like to, dress up, even you might be working on your car and you want to like dress up. She got beat so bad she realized she had Black people in her face. But for those of you who really like to dress up, the Japanese firm makes suits. So you could use, wear a suit to work on your car, or wear a suit to work in your garden, wear a suit to clean the kitchen, the refrigerator, the car. the sink, all of that. You could wear a suit. Just so you know, you have options. Wear a suit. King Jong Un visits China after Trump summit. Amazon launches Alexa for hotels. A bill. I don't want to stay in no hotel room with an Alexa. They already surveilling you. Remember that woman who sued because the guy, she was staying at a hotel. She was like a reporter or something. She was staying at a hotel, and the guy went and he drilled a hole in the eye peephole, and he was filming her. And remember that woman? It was like some white blonde woman. But they already filming you in the hotels. Why I gotta have Alexa spying on me? No, Alexa, no. I mean, they are. I guess they already surveilling you. I don't know. A Bill Gates backed edible coding, and there was a woman whose convo was emailed to a third party, right, from Alexa. And then they whole story is like when it was emailed to a third party, and her person called her, and they like, turn off your Alexa. Look, I just got your conversation emailed to me. They're like, when they went over the footage or whatever, they're like, well, what had happened is that, Alexa said, you want me to send it to the thing, and the person said yes, and Alexa checked it, double checked it. It was an honest mistake. Alexa she just messed up. That was awful. Because just the things that you might say, and that's not even like a butt call, because you can't deactivate it. Like your phone, you can deactivate it, theoretically. A Bill Gates backed edible coating makes avocados last twice as long, and it's coming to Costco. I'm so suspicious of Bill Gates and Costco, and also stuff lasting twice as long. I would gladly accept their apology along with $250,000. I'm just suspicious of things lasting long, like I feel like things have a cycle. So like, why are we prolonging the cycle? If an avocado cycle is whatever it is, then let's keep it moving and go on to the next avocado. Why I got to keep this avocado twice as long? And then I don't trust Bill Gates, and I don't trust, they're going to make us, and I don't trust Costco. They're going to make us go into this whole, whether we want it or not. Yeah, I don't want to say that, but that's how it feels. But I don't want to say that because it feel like that, and then it's kind of demoralizing to feel like somebody gonna force you to do something whether you want it or not. You are very wise not to trust Bill Gates. Yeah, Bill and Melinda Gates with the Gates Foundation and the skit they do over in Alkebalan. Right, exactly. I'm not, or his dog. Jay-Z takes on new role as Puma creative director. At first I was kind of like, but I kind of like the way Pumas look. I know that doesn't really count for anything, and I don't think I've ever owned a pair of Pumas, but aren't those the ones with the lines? I don't care nothing about Jay-Z and Puma, but it's interesting that he's doing corporate work. I guess he stays trying to have additional streams of income. I wonder how many streams he has. I always have this dream and this vision of having at least 10 streams of income. I wonder how many he has. And, and yeah, he got Tidal. Does he still make music? His albums, he probably still gets royalties from his albums. I guess he's a producer. He produces people, right? Like he was involved with like Rihanna. They were sterilizing women over there, jerk. They were in Africa doing God knows what. Okay, so that's Jay-Z. They just dropped the album over the weekend. I didn't see the album, but yesterday, at some point, I did watch the video. Now I think that I don't know why people I don't know why people say that the man is so ugly. Like I think they're a very cute, charismatic couple. I think the whole video was like very like, oh, the lines are the Adidas. Oh, well, maybe like Adidas. What do Pumas look like? Do they have a Puma on them? Puma is a big cat, right? What do Pumas look like? For some reason, I'm thinking of like suede and like lines. Uh, I used to have some shell top Adidas. They were red and white. They were super cute. As a matter of fact, I have a pink pair that I need to throw away. I think I like shell top Adidas. I hate Jay-Z, but he has a certain sexiness. The Pumas have a jumping cat on them. Oh, I don't know if I know none are working the beast. She just purchased a church. Yeah. Suede with a puma on them. The old Satanist. But I think they're very interesting to look at. And I like when I watched the video, it was like, I think it was like 5 or 6 minutes and it was over before I knew it. I wasn't like after 2 or 3 minutes, I like his lips. After 2 or 3 minutes, I wasn't like, is this over yet? Because you think a music video is a couple few minutes. So I think they're very interesting to look at to me. I mean, I don't know. And they had like some people in like nude dresses and hanging on the wall. And then, it was interesting. She's unattractive on the inside. I find her like, I feel like usually like there's some people who like, outside of Trump. Um, I don't know. I mean, maybe like I remember that movie Shallow Hal. Now that's a movie I really like. But that movie Shallow Hal, where the guy is like, inner beauty is the easiest thing to see, and I'm like, really? Can you really see inner beauty? I never really. I don't know if I could see inner beauty. Not like easy. Like I feel like I study people. Like I be trying to like see people's souls, and it's like I'm like really like paying attention. It's not like I just feel like, oh, I can see inner beauty easy. I don't feel like that. So maybe I miss the evilness in so notoriously. I wonder about her peddling her body. Yeah. Well, that's I feel like yeah. Okay. Is she peddling her body? Police charge pregnant woman who went on destructive rampage at Planet Fitness. I think at Rampage, I'm not engaging you with that, Ayapo. I'm not laughing at you. Police charge woman who went on destructive rampage at Planet Fitness. I don't know what's up with that. I haven't read the article. It's coming off of Atlanta Black Star, so it make me think somebody was black, was quietly listening here in the corner. Hey, Kendra, y'all got me rolling. So sorry. Not today. Not today. That's right. Not today. Don't laugh at him. Don't humor him. So I don't know what happened at Planet Fitness. So if anybody knows. Now is Planet Fitness the same? Oh no, that was LA Fitness. That was the chain where we had a couple of incidents. So I don't know who the pregnant woman was, why she was on a rampage. When people are pregnant, sometimes their hormones are like, hormones are gonna be kind of different, and so maybe she was just hormonal. Like I don't know what happened. I don't know why. I don't know the story. At least 4 dead, hundreds injured after 6.1 magnitude earthquake strikes Japan. So wow, 4 dead, hundreds injured. 6.1 magnitude earthquake striking Japan. So prayers out to the people who made their transition and are injured and lost people and the whole community. Is that Fukushima having an impact? You think the people who know about that kind of stuff, is that why they're having earthquakes, or it's just totally unrelated? Are they part of the Ring of Fire? Is the Ring of Fire like stimulated and activated because we're like, what's going on? Detroit graduates lose job offer after being told diplomas are not legitimate. So they done graduated from the school, they done got a job, they happy, and people say, no, we're not gonna hire you because you got a diploma from where? Oh, that's not legitimate. That don't count. So yeah. Seattle man's racist, so that's kind of sad. I was read the book we did for club yesterday. We were talking about these whole the school systems that and they're digging, but they've been digging. Are they fracking? Is it called fracking? What is it? Fracking? You know what I'm talking like? Are they doing that over there? What kind of digging are they doing? we were talking about the whole school system and like just all of these different systems, and you know how there was for a moment in time an idea of educating people for the sake of developing the person, but for the most part, you know, education is for the sake of you know, being an employee, being capitalized upon, being a part of the system. But even these people, they went through the yeah, you're still here, glad you made it. Even these people, they went through the whole process of going through the system, and they still, you know, got rejected. And then yeah, the thing about this book that was interesting is they were talking about the fact that when the state took over the schools, the state is like, the schools are failing, so we're taking over the schools. So the school board, you don't have no power, you don't have no say, you don't have no word. And then the state did a worse job and got the school system more in debt, but they're not accountable to anybody. Like, you know. And then the same thing with these Teach for America people that they hire. It's like they're like, well, we're going to hire these Teach for America people, we're going to take the jobs away basically from older black women, from black and brown people, and then give them to these young white people. It's like transfer of wealth. And the same thing with, you know, the school system, you know, like, we're going to privatize janitorial services, we're going to privatize this, we're going to so like money that was in public schools is now being paid to these private corporations, and they're not producing anything. They're not accountable to produce anything, because it's like a scheme, a scam to give money to, you know, I get like here, Snyder, whoever, Engler, whoever these governors are, they just be hooking they people up. You know, these governors, presidents, they don't care nothing about these systems. And also, I didn't know that, I think the Department of Education is relatively new, like Carter, Reagan. I was kind of surprised by that. I just thought the Department of Education was forever. I don't know when it was founded, but it's just like they privatize prisons, right? Everything is transferring wealth from, you know, because how many of us have worked in the public sector? For the most part, folks, the military, the like black folks who are like employed and have pensions and stuff like that. Usually they came. Oh, thanks everybody for thumbs upping this live, and also go ahead and hit that notifications bell if you haven't already, so that you'll know when I go live, if you want to know, or when I put up a video, you could know and you could come, or you could know and be like, I don't want to come, but at least you'll know. So hit that notification bells, like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that other good stuff. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Um, Seattle man's racist. Another racist public rant. Same stuff, different day. Seattle man's racist public rant goes viral. White men built these streets. That's what I guess he said in his it's like opposite. When they say it, it means the opposite. So what he was really trying to say is that black people built this country. But anyway, I know it's so shocking that they doing the same thing just day after day after day. It's the same stuff, different day. Trump Space Force, U.S. to set up 6 military branch. So we talked about this probably about 5 or 6 months ago. Remember, we were seeing all of those stories where people were like in the Air Force. They had sightings of, they feel so emboldened. They had sightings of unidentified flying objects, and they had declassified. There were a couple of those that had been declassified. We were seeing stories about private companies that were going up into space or establishing spaceships or something. I was kind of like, huh? And then at the same time, that's the first time that I heard mention of Trump talking about his Space Force. And so now we've looped back around to it. So, yep. Y'all signing up? You gonna be in the Space Force? You going out to space on a ship? Gaming disorder, we talked about this, has been classified as a mental health condition by the World Health Organization. Here's what that means. XXX controversial rapper shot dead in Florida. I don't know who this person is. I don't know who their music is, but it seems to be like this headline, this news seems to be news. So what do I need to know? I mean, I'm rest in peace to this person. I think that I heard that XXX extensacion, triple extensacion. I don't know how you say his name. I think that I heard that there had been some like word that he had like had some issue with domestic abuse or had been accused of something, they're devolving. They can't help themselves. Right. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and Space Force, the military force for the 21st century. I heard she was doing better, but I think it would be comforting if you could contact her. Thank you. 20-year-old kid from Florida. That's for the 30-year-old YouTube boys in their grandmother's basement playing video games. What, the declaration of it as a mental health issue? Hey, what did I miss? Everything, you got to go back and play the replay. So go forward and then later on go back to the point where you come in. How you doing, Mr. Kendrick? You missed everything, white boys. I'm doing good. So yeah, I don't know what the situation and the story is with the young man, King Kendrick. But rest in peace to him and his family and his community. And if he was out here beating people, that's not cool. I don't know if I don't know if he beat up on the wrong person and somebody, got with him. I'm not sure what happened. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't followed the story. India python snake tries to strangle West Bengal selfie taker. So a person taking a selfie got the snake wrapped around them, and the snake is like, "Ah, I'm gonna kill you." Or, maybe the snake was just being a snake. So there it is. Why Get Out star Lil Rel Howery has had enough of the way the black press is treated on the red carpet. So I guess it didn't really surprise me that there's some hierarchy and that the black press would be at the bottom, because it seems like, the system seems like it want to treat people bad, like treat black folks bad or the worst, or put us at the bottom of the hierarchy wherever we are. So I was kind of like, oh, and then I'm like, well, I guess it makes sense in this context. Why am I surprised? But I'm glad Lil Rel is saying something about it and talking out. Maybe he'll like start ignoring all white reporters and only talk to black reporters. Maybe he'll start ignoring all all white press outlets and only talk to all black press outlets. I don't know. That's probably what I would do. I wouldn't, I just wouldn't give you any energy. I don't know. But anyway, I didn't read the article. Walmart shopper shoots dead carjacking gunman. I'm not really a fan of this killing people, like random people being the judge, jury, and executioner. Now, I'm not necessarily a fan of the judicial system, the jury system, and the execution system that we have, but I certainly don't want the random person on the street with no accountability shooting me because they think I was shoplifting or carjacking or whatever they might think, So I guess prayers out to the person who was shot dead. I don't really know what the story is. I just don't like all of that, out here on the street shooting people. I don't like it when cops do it. I don't like it. Tired of the widespread gentrification, DC lawyer sues city in $1 billion lawsuit alleging discrimination. So the DC lawyer is like, I'm tired of this gentrification, you discriminating, and I want $1 billion. $1 billion is a lot. That's more than $1 million. I run this country. Seattle man completely loses his cool against black man and then plays the victim after arrest. This sounds like the same story, different day. That's a modus operandi, right? That's their way. That's their mode of operating. That's how they move, ain't it? They be all aggressive and then, yeah, run it in the ground. Oh, I run this country. Yeah, run it in the ground. Okay, let me put some air on it. It's starting to rain outside, so I had to roll the windows up. Hi, August Dreams. How are you? Trump directs Pentagon to form a Space Force military branch. Tiny after video surfaces of T.I. reportedly cheating on her again. So this story actually came in my news feed after another story about T.I. and Tiny. So I'm not really gonna read it, but I just feel like so much drama and mess and confusion with some people. I mean, with them in particular, but just representing like drama, chaos, mess, and confusion. Can't we all just get along? If you don't want to be married, don't be married. Don't ain't nobody for. I guess he might have felt like she forced him to marry, but and then if somebody don't want to marry you, then don't be trying to press him, and it's not gonna be good. You're not gonna be happy. Just cut it out. Just cut it out. Psychiatrist under fire for whipping patients suffering from depression. So I guess the people went to the psychiatrist and they like, I'm depressed, and then the psychiatrist whipped them, like beat them, like hit them. That's coming off of the Grio. Oh, so maybe it's black and brown people involved in it? Is the psychiatrist black or brown? Are the patients black and brown? What's going on? It sounds really crazy. Right, people most of the time create their own drama, like you said. Like the Buddha said earlier, don't start none, won't be none. Gosh, can't wait. Hey, Habaragani, Kuji Chagalia, self-determination. Self-determination. Don't be, create your own stuff. Don't be trying to push up in somebody else's stuff that, Former Ghana FA boss. I think that's like the like federate is like maybe athletics federation or something like that. Kwesi Ian Takai Inyantaki denies receiving cash gift. So they got a image of this man, and it's like a stack, like a few stacks of cash, and him getting the money. And he like, that's some bullshit. That's edited video. It's a fake picture. It's fake news. Don't believe it. And this is the thing. I don't know whether to believe it or not, because they can alter things to make it look like it's something other than what it is. We know that, right? But I mean, there are people out here taking money and taking bribes and in it for themselves. So I don't really know what to make of it. But he was like very clear. He said, it's some bullshit. I ain't the one. It wasn't me. Wasn't that? Who was that? Scooby? No, who was it? Wasn't me. It's somebody. It's not Scooby, but something like that. It wasn't him. He said it wasn't me. That's not what happened. Hulu orders revenge drama pilot Shaggy. It wasn't me. I had a rhythm. I don't have it in my head right either. I can't hear it. Shaggy. Is Shaggy different from Shaggy Ranks? Oh no, that was Shopper Ranks. Hulu orders revenge drama pilot from Handmaid's Tale producer. Who's the producer of The Handmaid's Tale? I like The Handmaid's Tale. Banging on the bathroom floor. Dang, I can't get it in my head. I almost sort of kind of, but then I just lose it. I just lost it in it. I might have to Google it later, but I probably won't. Chloe Cooley, the tragic story of an enslaved Black woman in Canada. Now, this is interesting because, being in Detroit, people are like, oh, people came on in the lie. Hey, Dark Void. As the laws changed and shifted, stuff changed and shifted. So Chloe Cooley was a young enslaved Black woman in Canada during the 1700s. On March 14th, 1793, she was sold against her will. Is anybody sold with their will into slavery? I guess maybe, but most, yeah. Okay, so anyway, let me stop criticizing people's writing. Was sold against her will back into slavery, never to be heard from again. Cooley belonged to a European. She didn't belong to a European. He thought he owned her, and maybe she thought but she didn't belong to nobody. She belonged to herself. Cooley belonged to Cooley was enslaved by a European named Sergeant Adam Vrooman. He was a loyalist who fled to Canada after the American Revolution in 1793. He put forth a complicated piece of legislation. Simcoe didn't want to upset Canadians by freeing all the people enslaved, but he did want to work slowly toward abolition. His legislation made it legal for anyone coming into the country to enslave others and ruled that anyone currently enslaved, born to a mother who was enslaved, would be freed at the age of 25. That's kind of similar to what was going on in Michigan. Room and fear, one of the largest, room and fear that he would have to set Chloe free without making a profit off of her. Oh no, I'm so scared. For she was one of his most valuable assets. So he sold her across the river to America, probably to Michigan, where slavery was still legal. While the slavery laws were being debated upon in the country, Chloe was beaten, tied up, and put in a small boat to sail across the Niagara River. I don't know the Niagara River. Oh, maybe that's in New York. Maybe that's in New York. Like Niagara Falls, the Niagara River. Okay. She screamed, but it did no good. I don't really like how this is written, but anyway, it's like, yeah, okay. However, this was not the first time Cooley fought against her bondage. I bet it wasn't. People fight all the time against bondage. She regularly protested her enslavement by behaving in an unruly manner, stealing property entrusted to her, refusing to work, and engaging in truancy, leaving her master's property without permission for short periods of time and then returning. When the boat reached America, she put up a good fight, but nonetheless, she was back in the hands of people who knew exactly how to break her. She was quickly sold, never to be seen or heard from again. Peter Martin, a free black and former soldier in Butler's Rangers, had witnessed the incident. He and a European man brought the incident to the attention of the lieutenant governor, who sought to immediately abolish slavery. They were reportedly shocked at the treatment of Cooley. Her abduction took place in the early evening. None of the European men, appalled with the incident, had heeded her screams for help or attempted to stop her. Right. So if you are so appalled and so upset, then step in and do something. He was arrested for his actions of selling Chloe off into slavery, but the charges were dropped because the case could not be made against him because slavery was not recognized under English civil law. In other words, Chloe Cooley had no rights that Vrooman was bound to respect. Now that's language from what, the Dred Scott decision or something, and she could be sold and treated as any other piece of property. All right, well, Chloe Cooley, rest in peace, girl. Rest in peace. South Korea players swap shirts to Fox rivals. So it's like a I guess they're playing like a athlete, like a like a game, like soccer or something like that. And like when you're preparing, you're like, oh, we're gonna watch that Riley number 3 because she's really fast. And we're gonna, so and so, we're gonna, like as they're getting their strategy together, they probably just going by, the numbers or whatever. And so this team is like, we're gonna swap out all the shirts, and then they won't know who's who. They won't know who's fast. They won't know who's a good kicker. They won't know who's can hit the ball with their head or dunk it or whatever, whatever the sport is. So they say the rivals won't know. We gonna fox them by switching the jerseys. So that's what the South Korea players did. That's weird that the headline don't say what kind of sport it was, but anyway. After T.I. shares posts about why men don't marry, wife Tiny goes off. So T.I. is like, men don't get married because there's no benefit to men in getting married. It's spirit of the law for him. When you get married, you lose all your balls. He sounded very crazy to me for a grown-ass man who chose to be married. Like, didn't nobody make him get married? If you don't want to get married, be divorced. I think he's being a brat and just, complaining because I think that whatever arrangement he had with his wife is shifting and he's resisting it. That's what I think is going on. But he just seems dumb to me. Necessarily appreciate or respect Tiny either. I mean, you can't, when you outside of somebody's relationship, you can't understand. But the whole thing, when they were first getting married and I saw him on TV, it seemed weird. Like she wanted to sing and he was like, I'm the man. Like it just seems so weird and unattractive. I'm like, why is she with him? I don't know. And that's when I think he was going to jail then. And I was like, I don't, but if she like it, I love it, I guess. I don't love it, but Oh, they do this to stay in the limelight, and then look at me giving them shine, talking about them. Well, they stay in the limelight. Does that means that people go out and buy their albums or something? George W. Forbes co-founded the black newspaper, the Boston Guardian. Has anyone heard of the Boston Guardian? That was a messed up relationship. Yeah, let us be healthy in our relationships. Don't. I mean, we don't know the ins and outs. We just reading it on, just hearing about them. We don't really know what's going on because it could just be fake for the gram. Weren't they getting a divorce for the fifth or sixth time? Right. They probably just fake it for the gram, right? Keep us talking. Keep us giving them our energy. I wouldn't want people talking about me like that, but they say any news is good news. That's not what they say, but you know the expression where it's like, all publicity is good publicity. Lawmaker dials back advice to Russian women not to race mix during World Cup. So I guess the Russian people were coming to the World Cup and they like, don't be mixing in with the races. Don't be having sex with the black people. I don't know. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. I didn't read the story. The man who went to the North Korean place that doesn't exist. There's a big hotel where tourists stay at. Y'all remember Otto Warmbier? He was like a white guy. I think he was relatively young, but remember he went to North Korea and then he ended up getting arrested. They said he was stealing a sign or something off the wall, and then he got 15 years of hard labor, but I don't think he stayed there for 15 years. And then by the time they sent him back to his family, he was like basically about to die, and he died. He was in a coma. He never came out. So the same hotel that they say that this child stayed at, these people were staying at, and it's like a hotel where it's common for tourists to go. And it's like a big hotel, but the fifth floor, can't forget that fool Otto. The fifth floor is like, if you look at the elevator, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so these tourists are like, they noticed and they're like, what's on the fifth floor? And so they couldn't get to it from the elevator. So they went from the from the sixth floor down or from the fourth floor up. And they were like walking around, and it was like it was a shorter floor. They could tell it was kind of like a security, like a service type area. And then eventually, they saw some shoes outside of one room. And then eventually somebody came back and it's like, are you lost? Leave. And so they basically left. And then a couple of them came back, and then somebody else came and it was like, are you lost? Leave. And then you can't forget. And then somebody else came, like, so 3 times, like not the whole group, but some of the group went. Is it Warmbier? I don't know how to pronounce his name. You forgot, or you didn't forget. Always be going where they don't belong. Just curious and young, like, these kids said that they were like college kids, and it was like, no, they were with a tour group, and the tour group would tell them, this is how you have to cross the street, this is how you do stuff, but nobody told them, do not go on to the 5th floor. So they were just like, well, let's go see what's up. And even when the people came and were like, get out, are you lost? Here, let me show you how to get to the door. They say that the people weren't like, get out, what are you doing here? So they really didn't think it was a big deal until the next day. They were packing up, getting ready to leave. They were on the bus, and the people came and they were like, oh no. When the people came, they were like, somebody stole a towel, and if y'all just, we gonna turn around basically, and if you just put the towel on the floor, then we ain't gonna kill y'all or whatever. But it was like a big deal over somebody stealing a towel, and they put the towel on the floor. But somehow it had something to do with this fifth floor of this hotel. He defaced a poster of Kim while his pale behind was in Korea. They locked him up for years. He cried like a baby at his sentencing died shortly after. Well, I mean, I'm probably not going to be any place defacing, anything. But I just kind of feel like, I don't know if it's like, you defaced a poster and so you should die. That seems, the whole thing seemed kind of intense to me. And I can see how you could think like he, with his white privilege, got him killed. Yeah. But I could see how you would think, just like those boys went to China and were shoplifting. Those the people associated with the ballers, the daddy has he trying to sell basketball shoes. But one of his sons was at UCLA. I think he was in China for a tournament, and it was dumb. Hi, Sinalo. Cyan Low. Is it Cyan Low? You gave me the phonetic pronunciation once and I forgot. And then I freaked out because I'm like, Lonzo Ball. Is Lonzo Ball the daddy? But anyway, one of them ball boys was over there and he admitted, he say he stole. Now, I don't know if he stole or not, but you know, that just seemed like stuff that dumb people do. Like I wouldn't be in nobody else's country stealing. I wouldn't even be doing that in this country. But so I mean, it might have been white privilege and it might have just been stupidity. Okay, let me try to hurry up. Hong Kong's fish are eating plastic, and people could be too. Oh yeah, we are. But they saying the little particles of plastic are getting in the fish, and then when you eat the fish, you eating the little particles of plastic. And we're drinking it. They say it's in the water. Plastic is something else. Plastic is something else. And it's not a good something else. Man goes to prison for attempting to hijack web domain at gunpoint. So I think it was like somebody had like the Be Fabulous You web domain, and I'm like, you better give me the web domain. And then I pulled out my gun and I'm like, give me that web domain. I think that's what this story is saying. Is that what it's saying? Don't be a spoiled brat in other people's country. Okay, World Cup 2018, how the Mexicans reacted to the shocked win. Yeah, big blob of it in the ocean. I think that it was the Mexicans who they won, and they were like jumping, oh, we're so excited. And they created really over a domain. That's what the headline says. Hey, my Twisted Life with Poetry. What up, though? They can't help themselves. It's how they were raised. This is coming off of Engadget.com. Man goes to prison for attempting to hijack web domain at gunpoint. So I don't know. Maybe there's another way to interpret that headline, but that's how I'm interpreting it. I haven't read the story. So the Mexicans were so excited that they won. They're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it created an artificial earthquake. Really? Did that happen? That's what I think I heard. Speaking of earthquakes, Japan earthquake, child and 2 men dead and hundreds injured. So prayers out to the folks in Japan with the earthquake. I think we talked about this story earlier. I'm not sure if this is the same earthquake or a different earthquake. How a giant python swallowed an Indonesian woman. So prayers out to her. I'm assuming if a python swallow you, you probably don't survive, right? I don't know how, but that's the headline. Yes, in Osaka. There were 2. Oh, that's serious. Right. That's how I'd be if you had Be Fabulous You. I'd be like, oh. Oh, today when we were out walking, there was this giant wild white poodle that was like attacked this woman's dog. And she said she told the woman, well, first, before we saw her, we saw somebody who's like, oh my God, be careful with your dogs because there's a wild white poodle out here that's attacking dogs. And we were like, a wild white poodle. And he's like, yeah. And the woman who he attacked her dog, she pulled her gun out on her. And I was like, oh my God, I'm just trying to come from work. And we were like, oh my gosh. Then later we ran into the woman and she said she did not pull her gun out. And that's how rumors get started. She didn't dispute it. She didn't know he had told us that. But she was like, yeah, the wild white poodle had tried to attack me. And I was kicking it and it was trying to attack my dog. And I was kicking it and kicking it. And I told the woman, you need to get your dog because I have a license to carry and I'm about to pull my gun out. So she says she never pulled her gun out, but she was about to. So I don't know if that's how I'd be over my domain, but I might. Did Mexican World Cup fan celebrations shake the earth? That's what they say. Those pythons, people should stay away from them. They squeeze the life out. Oh, they don't swallow you. They just squeeze you to death. It's like being smothered to death. Facebook cuts gun free ads for children. People need to control their dogs when they're out. Yeah. Yeah, people shouldn't let their dogs run the street wild like they're banshees. Then they eat you. Oh, after they suffocate you, they eat you. Yeah. Well, she had it on a leash, and the person said that she was pulling, wheat grounds in Mexico. The woman said that she was pulling the dog, but the dog twisted around, and she said the dog has some issue with little dogs, And the person I was walking with was like, the person I was walking with was like, dang, I got distracted by that foolishness. The person I was walking with was like, why are they doing their dog out? And I'm like, well, if they can't walk on the DeQuinter Cut, which is like a 3 mile track and, whatever thing, trail or whatever. I'm like, she's like, they should take them to the dog park. I'm like, the dog can't get no exercise in the dog park. But then the woman who had the gun, she said that the dog was on a leash that was like thin, like Bella's leash. Now Bella weigh about, she's small, but this was a big poodle. So they say she needs to be on another leash. And then my walking partner is like, she needs to walk her dog over to doggy training school and get the dog trained. So yeah, that's what had happened. So gun accessory ads for on Facebook, the children won't get them anymore. That, I guess that's good news, right? I guess. Why they got gun accessory ads? Have you ever seen a wild white poodle? I know, it sounded funny to me. It seemed like it was like a story or a joke waiting to happen. Especially because you're walking down the street and it's like, we're not down the cut, we in the cut. My toes are beginning something. I missed that whole thing. But, people are like, there's a wild white poodle. Like, it just seems so funny to me. And like my walking partner, she wants to turn back because she don't want to have to. And I was like looking around for a stick or something. I ain't really see nothing. But I don't know. I guess in all the years of dealing with, my toes are beginning to hurt. Poachers become protectors. How tigers bounce back. Poachers become protectors. How tigers bounce back in an Indian park. I like the idea of a poacher becoming a protector. Like, I like the idea that someone could transform, like the idea that we can grow and develop and become more than we are. So you could go from being a poacher, which is negative, to being a protector, which is positive. Self-determination, Kujichagulia, grow and develop. After Chad Johnson slides into Giselle Bryant's comments, fans clamor for them to get together. I was shocked by that. I wasn't shocked that Chad Ochocinco has a type, and I guess that Giselle Bryant and the woman from Basketball Wives, Yvette, what's that child's name? Who was jumping up on the table throwing bottles at people. Those seem like his type. Like, I guess he has a type. But what his wife, the woman from Basketball Wives, he done headbutted this woman. So why are the fans clamoring for him to get with somebody else and headbutt them? Because maybe we figure he's grown and developed and evolved and he's at a different place. I don't know. But when he was on the TV and I would see him, he was just, his whole personality and his whole way of moving was like, not like, I'm like, ew, who would want to be bothered with his ass, his behind? Yuck. I did not like him. I did not like what I saw. Mound Bayou, Mississippi's jewel of the Delta, the largest all Black town in the U.S. It's close to Money, Mississippi. Y'all know about Mound Bayou? I didn't know about Mound Bayou. Dang, it's 1:19. I don't have time to go into it. I mean, I've been on here for an hour and 20 minutes. Let's keep it going. But check out Mound Bayou. It's really exciting. It was really interesting to read about. I didn't know. It's large. It's big out here. Videos of cops frisking Black men helping a motorist prompts cause for an investigation. So the Black men were helping somebody, and then the cops came and frisked them. The video got out, and so now there's an investigation. Mound Bayou, Mississippi. And Money, Mississippi is north. There was something in here about when the child was who was killed in Money, Mississippi, or by Money, Mississippi, Emmett Till. There was something in here about the people raising money or being involved somehow with the legal defense for Emmett Till. The town still exists now, although it's struggling. I was just kind of like, and I was right there in that region, and I don't remember. No. Mound, mound, like a mound, and then Bayou, Bayou. So two different words, but pretty close. Yep. Mubayu, 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 Mubayu. Got it. Oh, maybe. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Black teen assaulted by opposing player's father at soccer match. Hey, I see. So we soccer match, and the an adult is beating up the child that's playing on the other team. Black teen assaulted by opposing player's father at soccer match. I don't know what that, I mean, I know, I guess I shouldn't say I don't know what that foolishness is. I know what that foolishness is. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that story. But other than the headline, it's on the Grio if anybody's interested in it. St. Louis man allegedly heard shots. Oh, a St. Louis man allegedly shoots girlfriend in the head over $36. I think he wanted to borrow $36. That's coming off of the Grio too. The father didn't like the ruling on a play, so why don't he jump on the if he want to be like a barbarian, why don't he jump on the umpire or empire? Who makes the ruling? Jump on the people who made the ruling, not the child. Don't be jumping on nobody. Just that's how the games go. Sometimes you don't like it. You can't be out here beating people, jumping on people because you don't like the rulings. Or can you? I guess he figured he can. He like rent too damn high. This is a headline. No matter the circumstances, he had no business murdering that woman. Right. I like how the so rest in peace to that woman who made her transition. Oh, he shot her. He shot her in the head. She made her transition. And it's like if you want to borrow money, hey, yeah, that happened the day after the girl getting killed in her jacket in St. Louis. Crazy. Oh, that's in St. Louis? Oh. If you want to borrow the money, it was a carjacking. She's saying it happened the day after the carjacking. I like how the Grio has these headlines. You know how they're headlines around the corner from my house, adding the around the corner from my house. Wow. Dang. Has it been hot there? It was hot here yesterday. Has it been hot there? Or just hot? People are tense. People are desperate. People are feeling a certain way. I like how the Grio has headlines like rent too damn high. New study finds minimum wage won't cover rent anywhere in the US. So if you're making minimum wage, you can't afford to pay rent nowhere in the United States, which is actually not a surprise. They've been more or less doing a variation of the story for probably about a year or 2 years now. They focused on specific cities, but UC Berkeley to offer a course on Frank Ocean this fall. Isn't Frank Ocean a singer? I don't know nothing about no Frank Ocean. Do I? Do I know some Frank Ocean music and I just don't know it? Video, doctor suspended after dad records her mocking and cursing at his son who collapsed at a basketball practice. So I don't know if this is the person who was having the panic attack and the person was harassing them, but it's coming off of the Grio. Is it really? Is that a joke? The rent is too damn high is actually the registered name for a political party? Yes, Ayapo. No, not a joke. Get out of here. I had no idea. Rent too damn high. Well, all right. Okay, I'll have to look for it. The rent is too damn high. The wages are too damn low. The exploitation is too damn much. All of that. 32 of the most dangerous things science has strongly linked to cancer. Dang, I really wanted to talk about this because this was kind of interesting, but I don't have time. Bay Area hospital permanently removes doctor from list of approved physicians after poor treatment of Black patient. That's good. Amanda Stenberg comes out in inspiring Instagram posts, out and proud. I'm glad. I don't like nobody to have to hide who they are. It has two O's in the two. Oh, yeah, I got the concept. I don't like people hide. I feel like be you, be who you are. Shoot, I don't think you should pretend and hide. Don't pretend and hide from me. Be you. So I'm glad she out and she proud. She probably feel relief because people be nervous and scared to like reveal themselves. You know, 5 people died when an SUV smuggling migrants across the border crashed a high-speed chase with police. A migrant father separated from his wife and child at the US-Mexico border had a breakdown at a Texas jail and took his own life. So you think he took his own life or you think he was murdered? You think he took his own life because he was in distress and upset? From birth to old, so rest in peace to him. I see that she was an unprofessional doctor. We should go to a separate stream on cancer causing things. Yes, we should. We should talk about it a lot. But I thought, I felt like it was a pretty comprehensive. We should do. I felt like it was a pretty comprehensive. Like if I had had time, I would have read it because I feel like we can't really. We have to stay conscious of this stuff and like talk about this stuff and do better. For ourselves and for each other and just keep the information and like the awareness and the consciousness going. From birth to old age, here's customers for almost 10 what Americans are most likely to die from at every age. I think I looked at that article and it kind of got on my nerves. So that's it. That's what I got. That's this edition of Notes on the News. Like, share, comment, subscribe. If you came in late, go back and listen to the replay. Hi, Sister Ajali does some very good in-depth shares on the subject of natural cancer cures. So Sister Ajali, if you're listening on the replay, is the Radical Home Sister. Radical Home Sister. I think there are multiple channels. And I think she was in the stream today. Yep, the Radical Sister. Oh, the Radical Sister. Okay. So go check out her page for natural cancer cures, in-depth shares. And check out, click everybody, visit everybody, see who out here and what the people doing. See what the people say. That's what I got. My belly's hungry and I still got so many things to do. Yes, I have 3 channels. Oh, okay. So, the Radical, did I get them wrong? Did I say them right? Type them in. I'll read them. They wilding this summer. Are y'all both in the loo? Is that what y'all call it, the loo? Y'all both in the loo? Or the loo. That's what they call St. Louis, the loo. Louie, loo. Okay, so that's what I got. Kuji Chakalia, self-determination. Habaragani, self-determination. This one, the Radical Sister 2, and the Radical Black Housewife. I don't know if I've ever been to the Radical Black Housewife. So this is the time when we say our goodbyes and we say our salutations, greetings, and all of those other good things. Today is the best day ever. You are the greatest. You are the #1 starter. So be you, be fabulous. Be fabulous. You is on purpose that we're all here together. And I thank you for being here. Peace. The Radical Sister. Be fabulous, you. Thank you, Miss Kendra. Good to see you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous, you. Who you gonna be if you ain't you? Be safe, family. If we ain't we. Who you gonna be if you ain't you? Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous, you. Peace. Hey, have a good one. I love my song. Every time I hear it, I think I like it more. Have a blessed day, everybody. Be blessed and be a blessing. Thanks, Kendra. Oops, peace.